We are using protractors today. So this is a protractor, this arched shape ruler essentially. And there's a couple of things to identify when you're looking at a protractor. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Okay. So when we're looking at a protractor, things to notice is straight up and down is 90 degrees because we know a right angle is 90 degrees, right? So straight up and down is 90. And then if you notice straight out here to the side is 180. But it also says it over here at 180 because again, we know straight angles or straight lines are 180 degrees. So why is it on one side and the other? That becomes the question, right? And if you notice, this one's on the inside numbers and this one's on the outside numbers. So you've got to be able to identify what's happening here. So if we look at this particular angle, the red angle that they give us, let me go ahead and change my color so that's not confusing. The red angle that they give us, if we look at this angle, it's greater than 90, right? We know that it's wider than 90. So we know that it's an obtuse angle. And when we know things are obtuse angles, that means that they are greater than 90, right? So that means that I'm going to look at these numbers bigger than 90. So that would be lining up with a little bit before 140 or after 140, however you want to read it. So that's where we need to be careful by looking at the scale because it's 30, 40, 50, right? So that means we're between 130 and 140 and we're one spot short of 140. So that would be 139. Okay. So you have to know that it's obtuse, which means you're looking at the bigger numbers. And in this case, the bigger numbers are over here to the side. Okay. And the reason they do that is because let's see what these other angles look like. They could face the other direction. So none of those really help us see that, but we'll see that as we go through here. So let's look at the next one. This one is an acute angle. And again, it's because we know it's less than 90. 90 is straight up and down. And if it helps, like if you put your fingers, like your hand up in that shape, and when you close it, the acute angle is in there. So we're looking at the smaller numbers. So we're between 0 and 10. And if you look here, this would be 10, this long line. So 10, 9, 8, 7. So that would be a 7-degree acute angle. Okay, let's look at the next one. This one, again, here's 90 straight up and down. And if we look at this, again, you can take your hand, put it in that L shape. It's inside your hand, so that would be acute. And that one is going to be between 20 and 30, because again, we're looking at these numbers here. We're not looking at bigger than 90. So it's between 20 and 30. 20 is here. 25 is the halfway mark, that little longer point. So that would be 24, because it's one line short of that. Okay. And the last one on here is an obtuse angle, right? It's much bigger. And again, even if I put my hand this way, that red line is outside of it, so it's going to be obtuse. Even if I put it this way, there's some outside of it. So just be careful that you know those pieces. And I don't even know if you can see me. I don't know why I'm trying to act it out over here. If you can't, sorry. So this is going to be obtuse, which means we're going 90, and then we're looking at the bigger numbers. So we're going to be at the top row here. Okay, and again, 150 to 160. Halfway mark is that longer line, so that'd be 155, but we can see it, so we're one past it. So it'd be 156. So just knowing how to read the protractor. So the question is, which one is 24 degrees? That was this one here. Okay, and then we just hit check and it will tell us that we're right or wrong. Okay, let's look at this one. It says an angle with a measure of 15 degrees can be created by using the protractor below. Ray CT is drawn on the protractor as shown. So here's CT. Which point should be connected to point C to create a ray that completes a 15-degree angle? So again, if we're 15 degrees, we're going to stay here on the smaller numbers. Remember, they can face either direction, but since here's our ray, we're going to be at 15. So 15 is directly between 10 and 20. So it's this longer line in between. Because again, there's 10 little marks between 10 and 20. So that would be our answer there, just identifying which one we're going to choose. All right, and it checked it, so we know that it's right. And it's going to make me refresh. Sometimes when I zoom in, it does that. Let me zoom back out. Okay, let me pull this back up. All right, so this one's, which one is 138? So again, we got to look at the bigger numbers. This is 40 to 50, so 138 is not between there. This one is between 30 and 40, and we're too short, so that looks like it works, but I'm going to keep going. This is an acute angle, so that's going to be like 42-ish. And this one is an acute, or is it an obtuse, and it's between 30 and 40. That's going to be 30, 31, 32, 132. And it wanted 138. So it had to be this one here. Okay. So just slow down and make sure that you look for the correct piece. Okay. 161. So again, that's going to be an obtuse angle. So that automatically takes this one out, and then the rest are good. So B is out. And which of the following is 161? So we want to zoom in. 161 would be between 160 and 170. So that's a no. That's an acute. 161, that looks like it's probably it, but let's look at the next one. 161. So again, if you notice over here, it's an obtuse angle, but it's all the way over here at 170, right? So it's definitely going to be this one for 161. Okay. So just making sure you can use the protractor. Through which point below would you draw a second ray from point R to make an 88-degree angle? So we have this one, and ooh, this one's not flat across the bottom, which is not very nice of them. But we want an 88-degree angle. So which point would you draw a second ray to form an 88-degree angle? Let's see what this is asking. I hadn't seen this kind of problem. So we want an 88-degree angle, which would be just a little bit short of 90. So my guess would be T, because it's going to be a little bit short of 90. This would be way more. This would be way less. That would be way less. So I'm going to go with T. And let's just see. Oh, it's not going to let me see the answer. Oh, that stinks. Pretty sure that's what it is, though. Okay, so angle with a measure of 65 can be created. Draw the protractor. So again, this one's flat at the bottom, so that one's easier to see than that last one. And we want it to be 65, so we're looking at these small numbers, so it'd be this one right here. The 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. It'd be this one right here. Let me find my pen. It'd be this one. Okay, because again, it's going to be 65. We're going to look between 60 and 70 on the small side, and that's going to be our answer. Okay, let's see if we can find another one like that. Oh, dang, I just closed it. One that's not straight. Of course, when I'm looking for it, I can't get it. So either which way, I guess that means there's not very many in there, but it would be something like this. Okay, so which of the following angles measures 79 degrees? So again, 79 means a little bit less than 90, right? Not very much, but a little bit less. So since we know that, I'm going to get rid of this one because that's an obtuse. And this one's way less, so that one will be out. So I'm down to these two, okay? And this one is from 30 to like 85. So that'd be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and a little bit. So it's between 50 and 60. And this one would be 10, 20, oops, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and a little bit. So it's between 70 and 80. So that would be my answer. So that's how I would go about with those. Just reading the angles in between. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we will work through some together.